I kind of went to, the coaches this weekend, not complain, but I told them, I was like, if Garrett not playing, I need the ball at least 20, 25 times. So, I've always told them, I hate losing, but if we lose, I want it to be on me. I want to go out swinging. So, and my coaches know, they know, I'm unselfish. I'm not, out there begging for the ball and whatever, but, they have told me, Breece, you run and respect everybody. You got every means to, demand the ball and, talk to us. And for me, it was, I'm more so chill, just let the game come to me type of thing. But, this week I was just I needed this. I need the ball this weekend.
Okay, it's Breece Hall on SNY wearing a Mets hat. Man knows his way to Connor Rogers' heart. So Breece Hall puts up 32.9 fantasy points, that huge comeback in the fourth quarter. It was a fantasy fiesta for the most part. Chase Brown had the best game of his season. Joe Flacco didn't play amazing, but put up stats. Jamar Chase had 1 million targets. It's kind of surprising he only ended up with 21 fantasy points. But the big story here is obviously the Jets and their offense. How much are we reading into this, or is this purely a reflection on the state of the Bengals defense?
Both. I think it's both. I mean, look, make no mistake, the Bengals are awful. This is a bad loss. Again, I feel so bad for the fans of the Bengals because every time you buy into them, they bone you.
Yes.
Everyone knows this. Everyone knows this. When you buy into the Bengals, when you're finally like, hey, maybe when you spend a lot of money on 80-1 tickets.
It was so close. We almost had the AFC at 80-1 It was so close. It was sitting right there for us, and they blew it yesterday.
Yeah.
Now
the Bengals bone you. They do it. They do it every single year. They always bone you. But you know what? They put up 38 points, Jay. That should be enough to win an NFL game.
Yes, it really should be. Against the Jets.
Against the Jets.
Should only need 20.
Yes. Yeah. They put that up, and so we'll talk about Cincinnati, the offense in a second here. So, but you asked me the question about the Jets offense. So what do I think is realistic? Do I think, Breece Hall getting a ton of work? Yes. Obviously, that can continue. Now, do I think he always throws a touchdown pass? An ill-advised one that Mason Taylor basically had to Randy Moss it over 2 defenders. But God bless, he pump faked and still threw a ball into double coverage. But somehow Mason Taylor came down with it. But still, 4 red zone rushes. He's had at least 18 or more touches in 4 of the past 5 games. So the workload has been there, Jay, for Breece Hall. Like to see him involved a little bit more in the passing game here. Only got 3 targets here because part of the other thing that's sort of interesting here is Isaiah Davis, and we'll talk more about him tomorrow, but we've talked about him a few weeks in a row. Isaiah Davis is good. And there's a scenario where Breece Hall, either he was banged up coming into this week, there's a chance that he could suffer another injury, or he gets traded. He is rumored to be on the trade block. This performance certainly ups his value. Nice win for the Jets. Glad they're off the schneid, but they're still 1-7 and not likely going anywhere this year. So it would think that the Jets might look around and say, hey, can we get something for Breece Hall that allows us to move the ball forward next year in the future? And so Isaiah Davis, who had 109 yards from scrimmage, 17% target share, just looks the part of just needs a role.
Yeah, and absolutely. And if he does get that role, the Jets' offensive line has not been the weakness of the team. The O-line is fine. If Fields, who has certainly kept his job for a couple of weeks, I would think, off of this performance, he is a cheat code for running backs. Even though he's not the threat to pass that Jaden Daniels or Lamar Jackson are, et cetera, as a running quarterback, it makes it easier to be more efficient as a running back, taking men out of the box. So Isaiah Davis, I think that he's a prime stash candidate. Another running back.
Although, one thing about Justin Fields real quickly, and we talk about this a little bit more tomorrow. So Justin Fields, has now had 20 or more fantasy points in 4 of his 5 completed games this season. Right? Again, we can debate whether or not he's an actually good NFL quarterback, but fantasy-wise, when he has been able to complete a game, he's actually been pretty good. Now that is skewed a little bit. It's a legit stat: 20 or more fantasy points in 4 of his 5 completed games so far this year. Right? So now. One of the games was against Carolina. He got benched. He had only 4 fantasy points. The 5th game that he didn't complete was that 4.9 points game against Denver. Right? He completed the game. He was brutal. They probably should have benched him against the Broncos overseas, but they didn't. So those are the 5 games. 20 points in 4 of them. The Denver game in the 5th one. But then again, we say completed games because he gets benched in the Carolina game. He had only under 5 fantasy points in that one. He left the Buffalo game with a concussion.
Yep.
So, he's either been really, really good or really, really bad. But it's interesting. I don't know if he could sell high, Justin Fields. But next week is a bye. Then they're home to Cleveland, at New England, at Baltimore. it gets a lot tougher. You don't love any of those matchups, Jay.
No, you don't. In Cleveland, he might have game script, but Myles Garrett just sacked Drake May 5 times in one NFL game, so he's going to be licking his lips to go after Justin Fields. And then,
hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.